Hey, what's up, coaster fans? This is the Empire Guy Productions, and today I'm gonna bring you my top 15 favorite roller coasters I rode in 2017. This is not including like roller coasters I've ridden of all time. This is not my overall coaster count. This is not like my favorite coaster ever, like 50 to 5. That will not be in this video. It's not like that. This is just what I rode this year, not from all my years, just this year, 2017. Before I start, I'm just gonna list off the parks that I went to this year. I went to Six Flags Over Georgia, Wild Adventures, Trippers Rides, Jolly Roger on the Jolly Roger Amusement Park, Jolly Roger on the Pier, and Six Flags America. I went to those. But yeah, I'm just gonna count down my top 15 favorite roller coasters I rode in 2017. Now, before I continue on, let me just say that like most of this list, a lot of these roller coasters are from Six Flags Over Georgia. Just one more you real quick. So you will see almost every coaster in Six Flags Over Georgia. But not all of them are on the list. Like rides like Georgia Cyclone are not in there. But you guys will have to find out and see for yourself which coasters actually made the list. So before I move on, I just want to say sorry I've been so inactive. Like it was like I've been posting videos weekly. I'm trying to get back on a daily basis. It's just been so busy. I've been having to do midterms and stuff. It's just been so hard to make videos. But I'm here, and right now we're on winter break, so I'm back for right now. I'm gonna try and make videos daily. I'm making this big New Year's video. You guys will love it. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. And of course, I'm making like a Christmas special video. It's gonna be amazing. My channel, it's not really big. I mean, it doesn't need to be big. I just want to share my stuff, like make great videos for you guys to enjoy. Enough of that. Let's go to the top 15 best roller coasters that I've rode this year, just this year. Which coaster made number 15? Roar at Six Flags America. Now, let me just say, this ride was a bit underwhelming. I mean, it was good. I liked it. It was good. But it was way rougher than most GCIs I've ridden. I've ridden 4 of them, but this one, I mean, I'm not sure if I would really say it's the roughest. I'd probably give that to Gwazi, but Roar, it was good, but it just has the PTC trains. It didn't make me feel like I was flying as much. Like, if I rode White Lightning, for instance, like, White Lightning, you just feel like you're going flying through the layout. But Roar just didn't have that feel. It had some good airtime, but Roar was a bit of a letdown. But it's Six Flags America. What do you expect? Okay, number 14 might be a big surprise to some people. This is Blue Hawk at Six Flags Over Georgia. And Blue Hawk, honestly, I came in with very low expectations. I was not expecting much from this roller coaster. I was decently surprised when I rode it. I loved it, actually. It had some very good Vekoma force in the back row. It was actually very smooth. Like, what the heck? I did not expect it to be so smooth. I mean, yes, my head was shaking around and stuff, but I didn't feel like my head was shaking around at all. Like, I was so surprised. I didn't feel no rattle. I mean, it was a tad shaky, but I was just surprised how smooth this thing was. If it did have, like, the old restraints and it was, like, the old Ride Ninja, yeah, I could see it being pretty bad, but Blue Hawk, thumbs up for me. I really like the Blue Hawk. Plus, you're over water and got head choppers, just makes it all better. So, number 13, will be a big surprise, too, is the Joker's Jinx at Six Flags America. Joker's Jinx is pretty good, but I was kind of disappointed by Joker's Jinx. It did not have nowhere near as much force as I was expecting. This layout is so compact. It's so much just going on. It's like a spaghetti ball. I was expecting it to be super intense, but I was disappointed when it wasn't. I mean, I loved it. It was great. That first launch was fantastic, and it was so loud. Like, what the heck? That was so cool. But when it got to the inversions, it just didn't feel that intense. Like, what the heck? I mean, I will say that corkscrew caught me off guard. That was a great element. My favorite part of the element might be the corkscrew. That was a great element. Plus, it has lap bars, so you feel very exposed. But yeah, Joker's Jinx was a great roller coaster, and I recommend it if you hit Six Flags America. Number 12 might be an unpopular opinion, too. There's so many unpopular opinions. This is the Cheetah at Wild Adventures. I know some people are not a fan of this ride. They claim it to be extremely rough. And I will say, I found this ride to be very rough. but it's a special coaster because my dad and my dad's friends have ridden this coaster multiple times, and they love it so much, and I love it. I loved it. The thing that made it much better, much more forgivable for me personally, was the setting. The setting just made the ride so well. If it weren't for the setting, this ride would be terrible if the setting were so let me just say, this thing was so rough. Like, it shook me around so much, but I loved it just because of the setting. It was like the perfect setting. But Cheetah, if I ever go back to Fall Adventures, I'll ride the Cheetah again. It's the only CCI wooden coaster I've ridden, and it's a good CCI, I say. I mean, it might be one of the weakest, but I need to ride more CCI because Coasters International Wooden Coaster is now defunct. Now we're getting to the number 11, just barely making the top 10. Wild One at Six Flags America. This was one of the biggest surprises of the entire year. Wild One at Six Flags America blew me away. This thing is 100 years old. It is still smooth for a wooden coaster. Like, when is a wooden coaster that's 100 years old smooth? What the heck? And yeah, the airtime was great. It was so wild. The part that just blew my mind so much was that final helix. Like, the laterals on the final helix were so insane. Like, it was sliding almost all over the place. It was crazy. That is one of the wildest helixes I have ever experienced on a roller coaster. Wild One lives up to its name. It is a true classic and one of the best wooden coasters ever. Now we are getting into the top 10. This roller coaster surprised me too. This is the Great American Scream Machine at Six Flags Over Georgia. That's all I gotta say about Great American Scream Machine. Oh my gosh. This ride blew me away. I wasn't expecting much. I expected it to be a good wooden coaster, but I was surprised at the airtime. Okay, this is why I loved it. Buzz bars. Buzz bars. These restraints, like, they don't even touch you. And I just went flying on my seat. It was one of the craziest experiences I've ever had on a wooden coaster. It was so good. And I rode in the back too. Yeah, it was pretty rough. Like, it was very shaky, but man, the thing made so much better was that airtime. I mean, yeah, it unfortunately had a seatbelt. I wish it did it though, so that it would be a lot like Phoenix at Knoebels, which I have not ridden yet. I need to go in Phoenix at Knoebels because I heard it's like so crazy. It's probably going to be like that, but I mean, this one's much bigger and taller than Phoenix, but I heard Phoenix is much better just because there's no seatbelts. They need to do that at the Great American Scream Machine. Great American Scream Machine blew me away, and I would definitely ride it again if I go to Six Flags Over Georgia. Thank you, Six Flags Over Georgia, for not removing Great American Scream Machine and for removing Georgia Cyclone. Thank you. Thank you for emceeing Georgia Cyclone instead of Great American Scream Machine. Okay, number 9 is the Batwing at Six Flags America. And I had a great time riding the Batwing. Now, it was super difficult to ride this. Like, more than half of the time I was at Six Flags America, it was broken. Like, it was so hard to get on. But it was all worth it at the end. So after I rode Superman, I was, like, so blown away. But then I went over and rode, just check on Batwing. I mean, I didn't film, like, walking into the entrance of Batwing stuff, but then I went to just check on Batwing, and I forgot to film me, like, entering Batwing stuff. But yeah, the ride was open. I saw people getting in, so I'm like, we're riding it. I rode front row. It was only me and 2 other people on the train. Woo! That thing was great. Very intense for a flying coaster. I was surprised. It felt a lot like Manta, even though I did not black out. There was a big difference. If you know me, I've ridden Nighthawk at Six Flags. Sorry, Nighthawk at Carowinds, yeah. Which is the other Vekoma Flying Dutchman ridden. And I gotta be honest, I was not a fan of that. I mean, yeah, I liked it. It was alright. That one was just really shaky. This was very smooth for a Vekoma. And I had a great time riding Batwing. Like, there was a lot of parts where I just felt, I literally almost slipped out of my seat. Like, Batwing, great ride. I mean, of course I didn't. I was nowhere near close to slipping out of my seat. It just felt like it. But yeah, Batwing, great coaster. I recommend it if you hit up Six Flags America. Number 8 is Daredevil Dive at Six Flags Over Georgia. lot of these coasters are Six Flags roller coasters. But Daredevil Dive was great. That first drop was just amazing. And this is the roller coaster where the first time I rode it, we got stuck on it. If you've seen a vlog, which is probably my favorite vlog I've ever made, it was me going to Six Flags over Georgia with my youth group during a mission trip. We went over to this park, and this is one of the rides we hit up, and we got stuck on it. That will always be one of my favorite moments. It was just like getting stuck in there with all my friends who are in my hometown. But yeah, Daredevil Dive was a great roller coaster, just in general. Daredevil Dive, the vertical lift is pretty good. Probably not as good as Rocket's lift, but yeah, and the Beyond Vertical Drop was pretty cool too. I had a good time with that Beyond Vertical Drop. And the versions seemed a lot more intense I expected. And that final version was that felt very slow. It was like Tempesto. But yeah, Daredevil Dive was great. It was just great. Okay, number 7, we have the Mindbender at Six Flags over Georgia. Another roller coaster at Six Flags over Georgia. And Mindbender, let me just describe it. It was unreal. It was so great. I was so blown away by Mindbender. I was not even expecting this to be better than Daredevil Dive. But I was surprised that it was. Man, that has some great airtime in the back. Sorry, I'm kind of coughing though. Anyhow, yeah, I had some great airtime in the back. And the loops pull 5.8 Gs. 5.8 Gs. That's the most G's I've ever experienced on a roller coaster. And I felt like blacking out during the loops. Those inversions just right there made the ride worth it. And it's just, the layout was just so cool. It is personally my favorite Schwarzkopf I've ever ridden. And it's probably many people's favorite Schwarzkopf too. And you don't see many Schwarzkopfs around anymore. I'm glad I got to ride this one at least. Yeah, this one, Scorpion, and Super Duper Looper, those are the 3 I've ridden at the moment. And I still need to ride more. So, at number 6 is the Georgia Scorcher at Six Flags over Georgia. How many coasters are here on this list? It's Six Flags over Georgia. Six Flags over Georgia, why do you have so many good roller coasters? Why can't Six Flags over Georgia be my home park? They have so many great roller coasters. I don't live too far from Six Flags over Georgia. It's from where I live, maybe 10-hour drive or so. But man, Georgia Scorcher, that blew me away. I was expecting it to be good because I haven't ridden Apocalypse: The Last Stand at that point, but Georgia Scorcher, I love that ride. That thing was pretty intense overall. You can feel the G-force. Basically, the ride slogan is "Put your feet to the fire." My feet felt like they were on fire. It was so good. And it was actually smooth for a roller coaster. I remember I took my youth director, who's at a new church now, and this was his first ever stand-up coaster. I took him on it, and he said he loved it at the end. I'm very proud. But yeah, Georgia Scorcher, that was a great ride. I really had a good time on it. It was definitely my favorite stand-up coaster I've ridden. Okay. Starting off the top 5, we have Superman Ultimate Flight at Six Flags over Georgia. Still, we got more coasters from Six Flags over Georgia on this list. This is not the last one. Superman Ultimate Flight. I will say I was a little disappointed by it. Superman, it was a little disappointing, but it was fun. That pretzel loop, definitely my favorite part of the ride. That was intense. And it definitely was nowhere near as good as Manta at SeaWorld. But the pretzel loop was definitely my favorite part of the ride. But the rest of the ride was just kind of mediocre. It's kind of for a flying coaster, it's kind of mediocre, just kind of flying through. However, the thing that I loved about also in this ride was, compared to the other 2 Superman clones, this one goes through a tunnel, underground tunnel, which is pretty cool, and it uses the terrain to its advantage. Many people consider this to be the best Superman clone out there, and it's the only Superman Ultimate Flight clone I've ridden, and it is great. Okay, we are coming to number 4. Number 4, Batman the Ride at Six Flags Over Georgia. Again, another coaster, Six Flags Over Georgia. Oh my gosh, Batman the Ride blew me away. Oh man, just dang it. Man, this ride was so intense. Like, I mean, I was expecting it to be just like pretty intense, or like not the most intense ride. I was wrong. This thing hauls. It is so intense that when I rode it in July, I blacked out on the second loop. And man, I mean, I lost my, like, man. I mean, I got my consciousness back, like, after the helix after the loop. Like, that loop and helix are, like, some of the most intense elements I've experienced. Man, this is like a mini Afterburn. Except nowhere near as good, nowhere near as smooth as Afterburn. But, whoo, Batman the Ride was just plain awesome. Plain awesome. It was just plain awesome. I was such a big fan of Batman the Ride. Man, it was so cool. I love Batman the Ride. And, I mean, it definitely isn't a popular opinion. Some enthusiasts are not really a big fan of Batman clones. I'm a fan of them. I mean, this is the only one I've ridden. And I need to get back on more Batman clones. Okay, starting off the top 3. That's right, we're at 3. Starting off the top 3. What was a big surprise to me. The Mindblower at Fun Spot America. I almost said Six Flags because a lot of these coasters are Six Flags roller coasters. But, wow. Mindblower. Wow. This thing hauls butt. This thing hauls butt. That airtime was crazy. That drop was just amazing. And the inversion was just cool. This is the first inverting wooden coaster in Florida. And it's in the South, too. The airtime, the intensity, and everything about it just made it so fantastic. I mean, what I've heard now these days, some enthusiasts have complained about it, they're saying it's very rough now. I didn't think it was rough when I rode it. I found it to be pretty smooth. I thought it was smoother than White Lightning, which is weird. I need to ride both of them again. But as of right now, Mindblower, my favorite wooden coaster so far. It was a fantastic ride. It's like an RMC, basically. The RMC of Florida. That's what I'd say. You don't need Gwazi to be RMC'd. You've got Mindblower. Even though I wish Gwazi was RMC'd. And number 2, back to the Six Flags roller coasters. Number 2 is Superman Rise Steel at Six Flags America. What I loved about Superman Rise Steel was just that it was just so good. It was so cool. Like the airtime. The airtime. I was so speechless from the airtime. I mean, I was honestly expecting not much from this ride. I was not expecting much. But, whoa, I was so blown away when I rode it. I mean, I was expecting it to not be in my top 10 or my top 5. It's in my top 5. Like, seriously, this ride is incredible. But yeah, even the helixes started to make me gray out a little. Like, wow. Like, just wow, it started to make me pass out, which was weird. Maybe it's because I haven't drinking much that day, but I love Superman. And the drop felt much steeper than it actually is. And the airtime hills at the end were just like, like that. Like, it just pulled me, just whipped me through the airtime hills. It was ejector. It was so good. Oh my gosh. Okay. Are you ready? My favorite roller coaster that I rode this year in 2017, is a very special coaster to me. This is Goliath at Six Flags Over Georgia. That's right, Goliath is my favorite roller coaster I rode this year in 2017. What would you say? Goliath was so good. Much better than I was expecting. Like, oh my gosh. Goliath is right now my second favorite B&M Hyper, just behind Mako. what I love about Goliath was the airtime was pretty sick. That was some like incredible airtime. I mean, it wasn't really the smoothest B&M out there. I felt the smoothest was like a lot like a polished chariot. The airtime hills at the end though, and there's like one point at the end where it just caught me off guard. I was like, and then like that. Like that kind of caught me off guard. But my favorite part of Goliath is the helix. The helix of death. That's what it's called, the helix of death. That made me gray out a little. Like I started to gray out a little. Like, when do you ever gray out in B&M Hyper? That made me gray out. And yeah, and I also love how you go outside the park too. Like it goes outside the park, which is great. Also my favorite parts was after like that first drop, that second drop, like the first time that second drop, that was so cool. Like that drop is so huge. Oh my god. It might not look huge, but it's huge in person. Like it is crazy. I love Goliath. Definitely in my top 3. And now I'll do it for this video. To all you enthusiasts out there, what are your favorite roller coasters that you rode in 2017? I want to know. If you want me to post more videos, give me down suggestions. Don't forget to subscribe to this amazing channel. I'll be trying to upload more content possible. And see you guys next time. Sorry if I keep using. By the way, I'm sorry if I keep using my phone to film this. I just haven't. I don't know how to like use the computer. I'm trying to figure it out though, and with the rest of the Disney POVs, I'm still trying to figure out a way to get them without using data on my phone. So that's why I've only uploaded one so far. I'm trying to upload the rest of them, but that's why it's like, but yeah, long stories. But that'll do it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos. Catch y'all next time. Have a the-intacular day right here on this channel. Merry Christmas!